Tracy Hackler, joined by two baseball superstars. One you recognize, no doubt, Chris Davis, crush, home run hitter extraordinaire, massive forearms. One you might not recognize, but he does a lot of work for us behind the scenes. Yep. Seth Garrison. A lot of people don't know that. Well, Seth, but a lot of people don't know that he and Chris have been buddies for quite a long time. Seth is responsible for a lot of our baseball player autograph acquisition, and Chris was nice enough to come by today and sign and tell a lot of stories we can't really put on the air, but some that I'm hoping we can share. And Chris, talk about how you know Seth and vice versa.
Well, Seth and I played against each other since we were teenagers, and played together in an All-American game, a high school All-American game when we were seniors in high school, and have some pretty interesting stories about how great of a first baseman, defensive first baseman I was, and played together in JUCO, and then obviously we still keep in touch, pretty good friends, best friends, if you will.
Nice.
BFF. Sure. We enjoy, taking our dogs out together and just talking about life.
Seth, what's your kind of favorite story of Chris from your playing days together?
All right, so talking about favorite stories here, my favorite story about playing with Chris and all the years we ever played together, playing in Albuquerque, like you said before, in the All-American game. I was playing short, Chris was at first, ground ball, coming up across the diamond, throw it to Chris, takes this long stretch for no reason and whiffs it, just air ball. And we're sitting there and kind of look at each other, and it's like that, look. And for some reason, the stands went completely silent. And you hear this guy stand up, and he's like, "That ain't gonna cut it in the Big 12." And I think everybody in the stadium heard it. I heard it from short. But
everybody in New Mexico heard it.
Hands down, my favorite story.
What is your side of that story, Chris? What happened?
I mean, he hit the nail on the head. And there's, I was going for the dramatic effect. I mean, it was a routine 6'3". I mean, guy would have been out by 5 steps. And I'm glad when I did my show stretch that that's what we call it, show stretch. It's a show.
You're ready for the show.
And I'm glad when I did that I didn't stride towards the ball, because if I had, it probably would have hit me either in the chest or and that's how good of a throw it was. And I just remember the ball hitting the wall right in front of the stands and kind of, ricocheting around, and looking back over across the diamond at Seth, and I was just kind of like, yeah, there's not really much to say here. And then we got Johnny Superfan behind me talking about how it's not going to cut it in the Big 12, and I was like, all right, well, I'm ready to go home. I never play baseball again, so.
Well, you got the last laugh on him, though, right? I mean,
yeah.
I would like to think so.
Big leagues.
I would like to think so.
Now, fast forward all these years, and you're signing some Panini America cards, National Treasures, that Seth has gotten you up here for. What is that journey like from that drop to now? How would you characterize that in a few words?
And it's a roller coaster ride. I think would probably be the best description. Just learning about the game, learning about yourself, and kind of the life of a baseball player playing, when we were little year round, really, to play in the big leagues, and just all the demands, and all the fun, and really the people that you meet. I think that's probably the greatest thing about my job is the ability to connect with fans and get to meet a lot of different people from a lot of different places.
If you had to craft a scouting report on Seth Garrison, not as an acquisition specialist, but as a baseball player, what does that scouting report look like?
Yeah, the first word would obviously be in bold, huge font, phenomenal with an exclamation point. Two of them. Now, am I critiquing him as a pitcher because he's most well known as a pitcher, but the Seth Garrison I know was a phenomenal shortstop with an absolute gangster hack at the plate. I'm talking launching home runs, and a little bit of a chain pop too, if I remember correctly.
Another good one.
I mean,
how would you face him? You're approaching the plate. He's on the hill. Are you licking your chops? What do you have to look out for from Seth?
Seth has a hammer.
For sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got to watch my being the first pitch because I know he likes to announce his presence with authority and really set the tone of the at bat. So first one, I'm gonna kind of be ducking out of the way, and then you got to respect his curveball, power curveball. Try to see it up because he likes to throw it middle where it'll bounce, and we all know I love to swing at that one. So yeah, I mean, I might lay one down on him just to see if I can stretch it out. Maybe even get two. He's a long, lanky guy. He's got a ways to go to bend down. But yeah, I mean, as a pitcher, I think probably bunting would be the best thing. But as a hitter, because I also pitched in I threw off a mound in college. I'm throwing him nothing but high cheese. I'm not letting him get extended. I don't want to see the chain pop. After he launches from about 500 feet. So.
Okay, now what did you? Obviously, you saw him in a developmental part of his career. Did you expect that you would ever see Chris on the biggest stage hitting the longest balls?
I think you always see potential, but obviously we both grew up with those dreams of playing at that level. But to see someone get there, it's always not a shock, but like a damn. That's a whole nother level than I think anybody dreams of. But yeah, the potential was always there, even from the curly-headed, goofy-looking kid he was to what he is now. But it's definitely been an enjoyable ride to see where he ended up today. Is awesome.
Are there things about his game now that you saw back then as kind of being most impressive?
I think the massive home runs were definitely expected, seeing them from 10 years ago till now. But defensively, I don't know if I knew he was that great. I don't know if he moved that well. I don't remember him moving that well, especially in the outfield. He could throw it, but I remember the power sinkers coming from third base.
Getting on top.
Yeah, now he's getting on top and staying through it. But it's awesome. It's being able to turn on the TV and hear his name. But I still laugh at guys get excited. Like, we'll go out golfing and someone, you kind of see the eyes turn and look and stare at them like, why are they staring at you? Like,
perhaps something in my beard.
And then what is a sinker? So you've got 203 or 4 or 5 home runs in your career, but you've hit like 160 or so the last 4 years. So what's the most important element of your power hitting game?
I think really the turnaround from my days in Texas and my time in Baltimore was really just the consistency in which I was playing. I think in Texas I struggled as a young player and wasn't always out there on a day-to-day basis, and getting a chance to go to Baltimore and be an everyday player, I think that's really where I learned more about myself and more about the league. And I think you're constantly making adjustments, constantly retooling and trying to prepare yourself for the challenges ahead. But when you can go out there and know that you're going to be in a lineup every day, it makes a big difference, and I think that's probably been the most beneficial thing for me.
That's cool. Well, we can't thank you enough for coming by, Seth and Chris, both great stories. Hopefully we'll get to more of the off-camera stories now too. But appreciate you, Chris, and happy for all your success.
Appreciate it.
Seth, thank
I
you.
appreciate that, Tracy. Thank you.
Of course, it's all love.
It is.
And we love you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.